ready to see our empty house here in Bali turn into an actual home. And I am so excited to show you guys, especially how I decorated it. From the furniture to my cute little touches and even fixing some pretty serious issues. Plus, once all the house stuff's out of the way, I'm going to show you what setting up a life here actually looks like. From grocery shopping to gym classes, making friends and finding a routine, plus why so many people want and love to call Bali home. Now, we are actually bringing a few things back from Dubai, and I'll be showing you what we've been up to there very soon. But I will say, the one thing I am so grateful we sorted before we left is our wardrobe. Because coming back with all our other stuff, I really don't know where we'd put it without it. Plus, it's the only room in our house that feels somewhat put together right now. Because if you remember the state of our kitchen sink, well, it's at the top of our priority list to get sorted, and to do so, we actually have to smash the old sink out, cement around it to make the hole smaller, and then retile. Let's just say this is not the vibe you want in the heart of your home. But seeing as we've already got this craziness going on, why not do the same thing in the bathroom? Because basically, the shower base we got made doesn't actually slope into the drain. So to fix it, they have to shave down the terrazzo and then add more to the edge to create the new slope. And I don't know if any of you have had this kind of dust in your house before, but oh my gosh, it goes everywhere. Like, I mean everywhere, even inside the drawers that were closed. And I'll be honest, I tried cleaning it, but there is no way. We need an actual team for this. So I will say, in moments like these, I really need to stay focused on the end goal here. Even though it's hard right now, I know it will be worth it. But with the kitchen sink finally in and looking pretty schmick, it's definitely giving me the positive vibes I need right now. And I never thought I could be this excited about having a sink, but here we are. Funnily enough though, something we already had set up from day one, even before the kitchen sink was fixed, was our Wi-Fi, along with Surfshark VPN, who is actually the sponsor of my video today. Whether I'm at home or halfway across the world, I always use Surfshark VPN. And yes, even on our secured home Wi-Fi, I still have it on. Because Surfshark doesn't just protect you online, it also does so much more. Living in Bali, there are loads of different sites and apps that are randomly blocked, like Reddit for example. So with Surfshark VPN, I just switch my location to literally anywhere I want and my device acts like it's there. This is also the same with Netflix. You can use Surfshark to stream TV shows and movies that are only available in countries like US or UK, even while I'm here in Indonesia. It also works across all our devices, which means Zach can be watching some war documentary while I'm in the other room deep into Emily in Paris. The other reason I use Surfshark VPN is for when I'm planning our travels. I just change my location and I can compare flights, car hire, hotel prices, because yes, the prices do change depending on where your browser thinks you are. So if you want to try Surfshark for yourself, you can use my code AmandaK at checkout for an extra 4 months for free. And they even have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in my description below and try it for yourself, even from the comfort of your own home. But now that you know why I use my VPN even when I'm not traveling, let's get back to turning this house into a home.
We'll turn it up right now. It's gonna be a good.
So just like our wardrobes, I actually ended up custom making a lot of our furniture, mainly because here in Bali, it's way cheaper to get things made from scratch. For reference, both our lounges cost us 18.5 million IDR, which sounds crazy, I know, but it's only 1,700 Aussie dollars, which can I just say was less than one couch I saw in some shops. Plus, this way you get them the exact size you want. The only thing is, photos, the quality can be a little hit and miss. Like how I got both the couches a meter deep, yet for some reason the bigger one feels really shallow. But honestly, I love how these turned out. And just wait till you see when everything's all set up and decorated. Now, you'll probably laugh at this or think I'm a genius, but I got the chair designs straight off Amazon. As in, the listings had all the measurements in the photos. So I just showed the local shop and they copied it. The chairs did cost us 1.25 million each, so a little more expensive than Amazon, but I could use the same fabric for the chairs and the lounges, so now everything matches. I was a little nervous going for such a light color on everything, but I just love white and beiges for home decor, so I'm sure Zach and I can manage not to spill anything on them. The only thing we're not managing is figuring out where to put the couches. I planned for one against the wall and the other one backed onto the kitchen bench. But the bench is ridiculously tall and with this big lip, so Zach doesn't really think it's a good idea to put a couch underneath it. But with my desk on the other wall and wanting the dining area by the window, they really make the most sense here. Now, with the dining table, I knew I wanted curves to be the theme, and that it needed to be big enough for 6 seats, just so I knew we'd have enough space for at least 2 other couples. But I did end up getting a granite tabletop with wooden legs, rather than a whole stone table, because having stone legs too would have doubled the price, and we really didn't need it. In the end, the table cost us only 7.5 mil, which was the same as all 6 chairs. And even if they don't tuck all the way under, we really don't mind, because I think the size and design is perfect for the space. Honestly, seeing it all finally come together feels so good. It's really nerve-wracking trying to design and plan everything, especially because I'm pretty particular and I'm also not a designer. Plus, you are still spending all this money on something you're not even sure what it'll look like in the end. That's why I ended up getting pretty much all the rest of our decor and furniture from either shops where I could physically see the stuff or from Indonesia's version of Amazon called Tokopedia, which is so good if you make sure to read reviews and never order anything fragile. We also got a few things from IKEA, which I am so grateful they even have here in Bali, because even though some people hate on IKEA, the quality is consistent and you can see exactly what you're getting. So it's just a lot less stressful and time consuming. I'll tell you something so sweet Zach said though, and he felt it the first time in our apartment in Dubai, but he said the effort I put into the decor and the little touches specifically truly make a house feel like a home. When he lived by himself, he had just what he needed and that's it. What's funny is, still, every time I buy something for the house, he's like, do we really need this? But then, once it's in its spot at home, he's like, wow, this looks amazing. I don't think I'm someone that goes over the top with things, but I love filling in the spaces at home. It makes things feel cozier, warmer, and plus, it's extra nice when Tokopedia actually has so many options that are super affordable. I bought these 2 things from a house decor store, and I swear they cost me as much as all the other decor from online, but they reminded me of Zach and I, so you know, I had to get them. We also got some of Zach's best and favorite photos he's taken for our art on our walls, which was a lot more expensive than I thought it would be, costing just over 700 Aussie dollars. But I've also never got big prints made up before, so I'd love to know, is that expensive? Plus, you'll have to tell me what you think of all the furniture, how I decorated the place, and just how it all came together.
You know it's trouble, but she looks so nice. She pulls the trigger with a pearl white smile. Maybe it's time to switch off your silence. Baby, you're walking on ice. Falling for the song of the sailor siren, calling you in the night. Baby, you're only one of many who have fallen for her light. She'll tease you with her tempting and you won't put up a
So if you haven't caught on yet, I pretty much handled all things decor and design for our home. Not because Zach didn't care, more just because I cared way too much. Zach did, however, have one non-negotiable, and that was to have real plants. Personally, I don't really like them inside. Things just get dirty and they can attract bugs, which if you didn't know is a huge thing here. You think Australia is bad for creepy crawlies? Indonesia is 10 times worse. So apart from the bug issue, you also have to keep plants alive, which being a flight attendant for so long where I was always away, I am not good at. But he does love the benefits of having plants indoors, so I've picked out the coolest ones I could find, along with a few fakes, but shh.
Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know.
And I must admit, I do love the look of plants inside. I'd just rather spend the money on high quality fakes. But in saying that, all of this only cost us 2 mil, which is like 200 Aussie dollars. And I'm sure if any of you know the prices of plants in places like Australia or even the UAE, this is amazing. So if for any reason I don't develop that green thumb, or some just don't make it from natural causes, at least it won't cost us too much to replace them.
Running through your mind, you keep me in your pocket. It's so typical, typical. Never cross that line.
Now, if you've watched my vlogs before, I've mentioned a few things about Zach and his taste for high quality water. Yes, water. So something else that was a non-negotiable for him was to actually get a good water filter at home. And I'll show you exactly what ours does in just a minute. But if you didn't know, Bali tap water is not really drinkable. And I don't need to get into the details why, but basically you will get very sick. How our tap water here at home works is we have a bore from our house that goes down into a deep well, and a water pump pulls it into our tank that's on our roof, and then it goes into our pipes. We did get a basic dirt filter put on our system, but nothing too hectic. Like some people get the full water purification systems put on the house, but we got quoted like $2,000 for this, and then you have to pay $100 a month to maintain it. For us, we just didn't need this. So instead, we got a pretty good shower filter for our hair that costs only $50 and you just replace it every 3 months. Then we got this beauty. If you remember our water filter in Dubai, trust me, I looked everywhere to find something similar, but the best and most affordable one I could find was this. A 5-stage filter system for just over 500 Aussie dollars. Now, technically you can, but we don't actually filter the tap water, as Zach is a little particular, and even if it is good to drink, I think his mind would still go a little crazy over the thought of it. So we got this filter to filter the bottled water. Majority of the people in Bali drink the bottled water like these 9-gallon bottles here, and have like a standard dispenser. But these big gallon bottles are on trucks in the sun all day long, and in hot warehouses for who knows how long. So Zach gets a little anal about the microplastics, which to be fair, I can understand. So this is our setup. The top one is the new bottles of water that go in and we just replace them. Then the bottom is for the reject water. That is an empty bottle that stays there and we empty it out as it fills up. And we have 3 bottles that we rotate through with a guy that delivers and replaces them for only 21k IDR each. Then I actually use the reject water to water the plants. So even though it was a little tricky to set up in the beginning, I think it's pretty good for that full peace of mind with one of the most important things we put in our bodies.
Look in the mirror, I like what I see. This is a real thing. Everything is shining.
This is my favorite spot in our whole house. It's where I edit all my videos, plan our travels, and do all the life admin stuff. It's honestly my little creative space. And since going from a pretty physical job to now sitting for hours, I did get myself a walking pad. Zach thought I'd never use this, but I'm using it right now to film this. Jokes aside, I actually use it all the time. Sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the next thing to do and the next, so sometimes I don't make it outside. This way I can still get my 10,000 steps in, even if it's while I'm replying to emails. Now we do have the whole other side of the house I'm yet to show you, and that's Zach's office. The reason he has a whole room is because he works way harder than me and makes way more money. Nah, but seriously, he actually needs more space than me. With all his camera gear, things he needs to film, photo shoot and more, we always planned for him to have a studio space. I did, of course, decorate his whole office, as he was more than happy with a plain white wall and a few plants. But he does deserve a really cool YouTuber studio. So now let's dive into the lifestyle living here. One of the things Zach and I love the most about Bali, and is actually what we're always comparing to everywhere we travel, is the food. If you haven't been to Bali, basically the food scene here is unreal. You can get any cuisine you like and it's ridiculously affordable. Don't get me wrong, just like everywhere, there are expensive places and cheap places, like steakhouses that will cost you $200 per person, or local restaurants that will cost you less than $1 for rice and meat. However, for us, we have some of our favorite restaurants ever here, where it costs around $20 to $30 for the both of us. We also have, of course, food delivery here too, just like Uber Eats, but on a local app called Gojek. There's also Grab, if any of you know this, and they're both very similar. There's even lots of deals on these apps too that just adds to the crazy affordability here. Spending just $20 for 3 mains and a dessert, or $45 for 4 mains and a starter when we have friends over. Like, come on, and that's delivered. Honestly, the quality and value of food here in Bali is unmatched. And this might make you laugh, but Zach is very much a creature of habit. So we're often going back to or ordering from the same restaurants. But if you know anything about me, I love trying new places. Whether it's cafes for matches or hunting down the best breakfast deals. However, trying new places here can also lead to this. This is me with my first food poisoning in Bali. Maybe a lot of you have heard of the classic Bali belly. Well, it's purely because people do tend to get sick more here than other countries like Australia or UAE. Whether from the water or uncooked meat, it sadly happens a lot. Unfortunately for me, it was some sort of chemical on some cherry tomatoes, and I should have known from the moment I tasted something weird. But you know when you tell yourself it's probably fine, and then the taste is gone, so you're not even sure if it was really that bad. Well, Zach and I have a rule now. Anytime something tastes even slightly strange, spit it out and bin the rest, cause it's really not worth it. The only good thing in these situations is Bali does have good home doctor services. Zach just WhatsApped a whole bunch of medical places and managed to get someone here in under an hour with the medication I needed and an IV drip, all for $2 mil. And it's not just medical stuff you can easily have come to your home. I get my lashes done here for 45 Aussie dollars, and even hour massages for under $25 each. And they're actually such good quality. I'd say better than any I've had in Dubai or Australia, where you're paying triple the price. Honestly, I mean this when I say it, I do not take this for granted, because who knows if Bali will be our forever home, but for now, we really want to enjoy the life we've built here. So maybe even now, you can get a bit of an idea of why Bali is such a special place.
Woke up to 17 new problems, blowing up my phone. Oh yeah, yeah, you know that if you let them, they'll try to break your soul.
Now, seeing as it is super affordable to eat out here, maybe you're wondering about groceries and cooking. So, a lot of expats here don't really cook much. And before I came into Zach's life, the most he ever made was Vegemite on toast or oatmeal. For me, I love cooking, and I especially loved it living in Dubai, maybe because I had to do it, as eating out there is just not sustainable. Plus, meal prepping for my layovers made it possible to actually save a little bit of cash while flying. But here in Bali, the cost of groceries are pretty similar to what you pay in other places like Australia or UAE, only because if you want the brands you know and trust, or even just higher quality products, it's usually imported and more expensive. So honestly, I've found I'm not really cooking here as much as I used to. It's hard to want to spend the time planning, shopping, and cooking for it to end up costing the same or more than it is to eat out. Something Zach and I have fallen in love with though is actually the organic grocery stores here. They have a lot of pre-made stuff like soups and pasta sauces, which then are really easy meals to cook at home, and we know they're probably a lot cleaner than eating out all the time. So even though I may not cook as much here, I know it's probably not forever. Something I have started doing more at home though than ever before is making matchas, because believe it or not, the cafes that have high quality matcha here are actually pretty expensive, with one of the best costing roughly $9 a matcha. So compared to the cost of food, it actually makes sense to make it at home. Plus, I've low-key fallen in love with the process, and I know the ones I make are to my standard and taste. So much so that I've even got Zach hooked on them.
In my soul, yeah, say you gotta roll with it, just roll with it, just gotta go with it, just go with it. Oh, life is gone.
Now, contrary to every Australian's belief, Bali is an island known for health and wellness. And compared to living in Dubai, both Zach and I feel our healthiest and most motivated here. Now, there are so many gyms to choose from here, it's a little overwhelming. And then there's the prices of these memberships. Some of the bigger gyms here can cost you $440k for a day, or over 2.5 mil for a month, or 21 million for the whole year. I swear, in Australia, you can get a decent gym membership for like $20 a week. Here, that doesn't even cover you for a day. So what feels like after trying every gym in Bali, Zach and I have managed to find one that is somewhat reasonably priced, costing us $1,200 each for the year. They do give us a bunch of monthly extras, like a free meal and an hour foot massage. Well, I guess we're paying for it. But we also get access to their recovery, so sauna and ice bath. Now, before moving to Bali, I had never done either of these things before, but apparently there's something on this island that makes people addicted to it, and Zach and I are no exception. I will say, ending the day with it really does magic for your sleep. I did manage to get Zach to try a few of the gym classes with me, and this is how I figured out that I actually enjoy classes way more than doing a gym workout. And the best part is the class choices here in Bali are actually way more affordable than gym memberships. Of course, I only figured this out after I've paid a year up front, but hey, here we are. One of the reasons I like classes more is they keep me accountable. Basically, I booked the class through an app called ClassPass, and if you cancel the booking within 12 12 hours, you lose the credits you already paid for, plus they charge you a fee. And you can literally book anything all over the island. But what has truly won my heart is reformer Pilates and spin classes. Just to give you an idea, one of my spin classes cost me around 50k IDR with ClassPass credits, but when Zach came with me and paid cash, it was 150k. So yeah, like a third of the price. I will link ClassPass below if you want to try it because it is worldwide. Now, I do want to get to the spin classes, as they are like nothing you've ever seen or done before. After my first class, my legs were literally spaghetti. I could not walk. But after the first week, you slowly become addicted to it. This type of spin class is actually called rhythm cycling, and it is by far the only exercise that gets my heart rate even close to 200 because running and HIIT workouts are just not for me. Plus, these spin classes are actually fun. The lights and music make it feel like everyone wants to be there, and then there's the trainers. They honestly become your friends. You both show up at the same times every week, and they push you to be a better version of yourself. I swear, you do not get that kind of motivation or drive from going to the gym by yourself. Well, at least I don't. It's the same with the reformer Pilates classes. Although the exercise is like the complete opposite, it's the same concept. I like having someone there keeping me accountable and also checking to make sure I'm doing the right moves. Honestly, the combo of these two classes with my walking pad in between makes me feel like I'm getting some really well-rounded exercise. Also, I'd love to know if anyone else is the same as me, but I am a morning exerciser because if I'm not straight out of bed and doing it first thing, it's just not happening. And exercise in the morning is also my social time. And this leads me into arguably the best thing about Bali and what truly makes it one of a kind: the people. Bali has been Zach's base for over 4 years now, and throughout that time, he has built an incredible friendship group here, full of like-minded people from all over the world, building futures with big plans and so much travel, all in the creative space online. The community here is something I've never felt before from friends because they're like a family. I feel so lucky because I've been able to slot in with Zach's friends' girlfriends and now they're my friends. There's something special and different with Bali because there's always someone you know, not even 10 minutes away, happy and excited to do pretty much anything with you whenever. From movie nights to a full day out at the water park to board game nights at restaurants or in our own homes. The people here make it hard to ever want to leave this island, even more than the cheap, delicious food and amazing weather. Maybe why I treasure it so much is because something people don't tell you before starting the job as a flight attendant is it's actually one of the most sociable yet loneliest jobs. You can be surrounded by people for 16 plus hours or spend days away with them, yet when you're home, you never hear from anyone. For me, at Virgin and at Emirates, it was hard to make long-term friends. Since I've stopped flying, honestly, I feel a lot more me. Finding time for myself and the people I love, putting energy into my health, my hobbies, and the relationships that actually fill my cup. Now, Bali isn't perfect. Living in Asia has its challenges, but honestly, so does everywhere. You just have to find the place that makes you feel most alive. For us, Bali is one chapter of our story. A place we can call home, somewhere to rest, reset, and fill our cups with good friends and good food, while still chasing that thing that started it all for us: traveling the world. Thank you as always for being here, for watching, and for waiting for my videos. It means the absolute world to me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because I have a lot of travel plans coming up and I cannot wait to take you with me.
Mother, I'm coming